So welcome back, everyone. What a great day yesterday. Dean tells me that besides the 126 people we had in the room, 191 were watching us through our national webcast. So let's just acknowledge that, and thank you, Dean and Randy. When we drove in with Marcus Kolb this morning and I was telling him about our Center for Meeting and Learning, I realized that I forgot to mention yesterday how proud we are at Lane Community College that this facility that you are using today is really a learning laboratory for our culinary and hospitality students. So I just wanted to recognize that particular issue of learning that we are celebrating when we are using this facility. And I see our Dean for Culinary and Hospitality, Brian Kelly, who does a good job. So thank you, Brian. We had star power here in Oregon yesterday. Paul Gaston, Peggy Mackey, Susan Albertine, Cable Green, and today Cliff Adelman, Marcus Kolb. And to think about it, we would have to fly across the country to a conference to hear these national scholars, but to have all of them here in Oregon, just a drive away, maybe 2 or 3 hours if you're driving from Portland or from Ashland, or if you're coming from Eastern or from Blue Mountain, maybe a short flight over. But still, having all of them in Oregon, so it's incredibly wonderful. For those of you in the room who did not participate in the live blog, Carol, can I have the live blog and the green evaluation? You have the transcript of the live blog from yesterday, but we realized that unlike the webcast where we had 191, very few participated on the live blog. So our request to you today is to try for you to consider the power of having collective notes so that you can refer back to it. This is going to be posted on our conference website. So for example, when you go back to your institutions and you have your own individual notes, but if you now have the collective notes, you can go back and get gems like you have the link to the NALOA website right here, or to some of the conversations about the Witchy Passport Project. So if you do have your laptops, and you want to log in, and as you're taking your own notes and something strikes you, go ahead and post a comment on the live blog, because then you are contributing to the openness of the conversation and participating in the true spirit of our DQP project, that whatever we're thinking, we're reflecting, gets put into the shared intelligence of the community. So we encourage you to do that. Thank you for completing the blue evaluation forms yesterday. Today you have green evaluation forms, and Anna Kate wants to make sure that you complete them, and we'll have the summary up on the website after the conference. Many of you were asking us about the PowerPoint presentations, Paul Gaston's, for example. It's already up on the website. And those of you who did the breakout sessions, the Bologna process, make sure that you send it to Anna Kate, Lynn, or myself, and we'll post it on the website so you can go back and refer to it. The core team also wanted to particularly recognize Chancellor Pernsteiner for being here for 2 days. And so I think the importance of this work right at the faculty level, at the dean level, as well as at the policy level in the state is embodied by the presence of the different individuals we have here. So thank you, Chancellor. Natasha had talked about the NALOA website, and I felt that I wanted to underscore the importance of this resource. So when you go back to your institutions and your team starts engaging with the DQP work, if you go to the National Institute for Learning Outcomes and Assessment, you will see that there is a link. Oh, that's Okay, let me talk about this. This is your institutional survey that all 24 institutions need to complete by October 31st. There are 18 questions, and it creates the baseline data. Now, we did negotiate with NILOA to provide the Oregon data back for us, and we have a small research group at this point, Malloy Wilson, Craig Taylor, Ben Hill, and myself, who are going to work with it. If you're interested in working on that research project, let Ron and Carol know, and you can work with the Oregon data. So NILOA is working nationally. So they will have the baseline data for all of the DQP projects. So make sure you complete this particular questionnaire. There are simple questions like, what has been most successful thus far in your institution while you've been working on the DQP? So have that conversation with your institutional team and then complete the survey and submit it. Since I'm talking about deliverables, wanted to reiterate a deliverable from Ron and Carol, that by December 1st, your institutional work plan is due, and that is really important because we have to write our report for the Lumina Foundation. And more importantly than writing the report, once you get together and start writing your work plan, that will serve as a catalyst for the work to occur within your institutions. So back to the NILOA website. I know when Lane Community College, we were deciding on our work plan, we recognized the importance of professional development. So if during the horizontal alignment conversation that Ron and Carol are leading, if most institutions recognize that we need to invest in professional development on learning outcomes, so how do you design assignments or assessments, NILOA has webinar series that we could tap into, and if Oregon wanted to contribute and host a webinar, we could post it. So that, again, it's the concept of openness. If we are doing something here, why not open it up nationally for colleagues to participate? One last comment from yesterday, and then I'll move into my primary task, and that is to introduce our keynote speakers for today. Paul Gaston's presentation, really what struck me the most and kind of gave me goosebumps was he went back to the grant that we wrote and that we submitted. And it was very much focused on taking excerpts from our grant and kind of reflecting it back to us. And what struck me was really the power of the written word. You know, the conversations that led to the very crisp articulation of the Oregon plan in that grant was compelling and powerful. And he went back to that in kind of forming the foundation for his remarks. And that made me feel that we had made a commitment to documenting our processes and making that open, and we should stick to that commitment because it is the documentation and having a robust website that down the line is going to keep Oregon really visible, and that's how our colleagues across the nation are going to really be able to see what we are doing and build on what we are doing. So that commitment on documenting and taking the time to do it is extremely critical.